I spent 10 years abroad to cure my son's autism. When my contract expired and I returned home, I found a new mistress in my house. My husband, influenced by her, despised me and said I was unworthy of being a wife. My son hated me and called me a poisonous woman. No matter how hard I tried to repair our relationship, all I got was disdain. Eventually, my heart broke and I left the country again. In the following 5 years, I adopted 2 children. One had an extraordinary talent for piano and became a royal pianist. The other was a natural-born businessman who became a renowned entrepreneur at a young age. One day, my husband came to my door with my biological son. My son handed me a report card with a smug expression. I got the highest score in the city in the college entrance exam. The TV station even came to my school to interview me. You abandoned me to pursue your career. Do you regret it now? 1. First in the city, that's pretty good, I said, taking the report card. I pushed up my glasses and carefully examined it. Although this was just a junior high school entrance exam result, it was quite good for a former autistic patient. My indifference made my son Quinn very unhappy. But before he could speak, Parker stepped forward and took the paper back. Your son didn't want to see you originally. I just thought that since he achieved such a good result, you, as his biological mother, had the right to know. And my mother is seriously ill and specifically asked to see you. Parker's mother was my high school Chinese teacher, and she gave me a lot of support when I was lost in my youth. Hearing that she was seriously ill, I immediately got up. I packed my things simply and was ready to go back to my home country with them. Seeing how hurried I was, a hint of sarcasm appeared on Quinn's face. You've been living alone abroad for so long. Life must have been difficult. Actually, if you want to come back and live with us, it's not impossible. Dad has become the general manager, and we've already hired a nanny at home. There's just one thing. You have to apologize to Aunt Vivian. I was stunned. The Aunt Vivian he was talking about was Vivian, the woman Parker had an affair with while he was married. I am a Ph.D. in chemical engineering. A foreign laboratory repeatedly offered me a high salary to go there, but I rejected them all, saying that I wanted to accompany my family and children. But when Quinn was 3 years old, I suddenly found that his behavior was different from that of normal people. After consulting a doctor, I was devastated to learn that Quinn had been diagnosed with autism. After treatment for a period of time, the effect was very unsatisfactory, and the most authoritative doctor was abroad. Parker firmly opposed his son going abroad at such a young age. But if autism is not cured before the age of 12, it will accompany my son for the rest of his life. At this time, the laboratory that contacted me also replied, as long as I worked for 10 years, they could help me contact a doctor to treat my son. I went abroad without hesitation. 10 years passed quickly. With the treatment of the world's top psychology professor, Quinn's autism was cured. But when I came back, what I saw was my husband's son and a strange woman living happily together. I trembled and questioned Parker, but he said that since I had been away from home for so long, I had no right to question their lives. I reached out to Quinn and asked if he wanted to go with his mother, but Quinn didn't even want to look at me. Seeing this, Vivian walked directly in front of me and provocatively said, "For the sake of your little job, you ignored your own son for 10 years, and now you're back to pretend to be motherly? You're the kind of person who only gives birth but doesn't raise your children. You don't deserve to be called mom by Quinn." In a fit of impulse, I pushed her, and when Quinn saw her being pushed away, he rushed forward frantically and pushed me aside. "Who wants to go with you? Who are you? My mother has always been by my side." At that moment, my heart felt like it was being torn apart. But now my heart can no longer be stirred. Looking at the two of them, I said calmly, "I did offend you at the beginning, and if I see her, I will naturally apologize to her. But there's no need to live with you. I'm doing very well here." 2. Hearing this, both father and son rolled their eyes in unison. I didn't bother to explain, and followed them back to my former home. 5 years had passed, and everything felt strange. Pushing open the door, Vivian was sitting on the living room sofa, sipping tea. With light makeup and adorned with gold, she looked radiant in the latest long dress. sitting in the spotlight. In contrast, I, immersed in research for many years, wore simple and plain clothes. Seeing Vivian, Quinn pushed past me and ran towards her. "This is handmade chocolate from the UK, specially provided to the royal family. It's never easily sold to the outside world. It's very precious. I brought it for you specially. You have to try it." The chocolate was indeed exclusively for the royal family, but it was sent to me by my adopted son, Owen. He is now a renowned royal pianist, and he sends back countless royal supplies every month. At that time, when Quinn was sarcastically mocking me and took the unopened chocolate from the table, I thought he was going to eat it. Unexpectedly, he was just giving it away. Vivian took it with a smile. Her eyes glanced at me, and she shook the gift box at me, as if she had no doubt. "Your mother is back and didn't tell me in advance, so I can ask Auntie to buy more food." "She's not. I was raised by you and I only recognize you." After 5 years, my son continued to defend Vivian. Vivian smiled smugly. I didn't want to watch them act, so I asked directly, "Where's the teacher? I'll go visit her first." Vivian didn't speak. On the contrary, Quinn immediately got up and stopped me at the door. "You promised to apologize to Aunt Vivian before you came back. Don't forget it? You wanted to do something without knowing the whole story and scared Aunt Vivian. If you don't apologize, I won't let you in." When I went abroad, I prayed day and night that my child could be like a normal child, that he would not have social barriers, and that he could accurately express his needs. Now his words are sharp, but they are used against me. A chill ran through my heart, and I slowly exhaled to suppress the bitterness that welled up in my heart. "I'm sorry for what happened 5 years ago." As soon as I said that, Quinn immediately looked at Vivian triumphantly. "See, as long as I speak, she won't refuse to apologize to you. With me here, no one can bully you." Vivian's arrogance became even more obvious, and she praised Quinn over and over again for being filial and sensible. Looking at the two of them who were as close as mother and son, I smiled bitterly. I turned around and saw the handprints of a family of 3 under the TV wall. One of them was mine. My memory flashed, and I suddenly remembered that every decoration in this house was chosen together with Parker. At that time, we were indeed inseparable, and we made life and death vows to each other. But even so, Parker cheated. Even my own son, whom I regarded as the apple of my eye, followed his father and became close to Vivian. I tried to win him back over and over again, but all I got in return was their disgust. In the end, I chose to let go. I left a divorce agreement and bought a ticket to go abroad overnight, so that the 3 of them could live happily together. 3. After going abroad, I was introduced by a colleague to a welfare institution. There, I met 2 children who changed the trajectory of my life. The younger child was Owen. Perhaps because he was mixed race, his eyes were a rare blue, but his expression was always dead. I reviewed his medical report and decided to adopt this autistic boy. The day I brought him home, Owen tiptoed and drew a cross on my chest. "Mommy, Owen will prove to you that your choice was right. God bless you." At first, I didn't pay much attention to this sentence. I just wanted to help him grow up safely. But in a music class, he showed an amazing talent and interest in the piano. In just 1 year, he won the first prize in the New York Piano Solo Competition and was recruited into the Y Country Royal Ensemble, becoming the youngest member. While I was happy for him, heaven gave me Willa. Unlike Owen, Willa was lively and cheerful. Bright and cheerful, she was kind and enthusiastic. But such a child had nightmares every day. She said her father was framed and imprisoned, and the company fell into the hands of others. Her mother and she accidentally fell into the sea and disappeared while fleeing to a foreign country. She said that one day, she would avenge her parents. I saw her determination and took her out of the orphanage, using all my savings to send her to a top financial school. Since then, Willa has stopped pretending and has been wholeheartedly devoted to her studies. Now, at only 21 years old, she has reached the height of her father's achievements. And she has returned to China to start collecting evidence, intending to clear her father's name. After settling back in China, she called me every time and asked me to go to her place, but I refused because I was afraid of causing her trouble. Thinking of Owen and Willa, I couldn't help but smile. I really miss the days when they were with me. It's just right to take this opportunity to go back to China and meet Willa. I was just about to ask the teacher if she was at home or in the hospital when Parker suddenly reached out and pulled me to the study. Stay home this time. As long as you no longer have that attitude towards Vivian, I and the children can all accommodate you. He was very close to me, his eyes filled with the deep affection of the past. But I just found it funny. If it were 5 years ago, he would coax me with such tenderness, and for the sake of the children, I might really stay. But it's too late. 5 years is enough to change everything. No wonder you climbed up to the position of general manager. You can still give such an alms while having an affair within marriage. Parker, let's complete the divorce certificate when we come back this time, and it will be completely over. When I left 5 years ago, I had signed the divorce agreement. Now that I have obtained the divorce certificate, it's good for them to be together as a family. Parker was anxious. What are you talking about? I'm just blaming you. You've been away from home for so long, and you don't care about me or our son. I don't care? When I was alone in a foreign country, did they ever ask me? For 10 years of the contract, wasn't it always me who called them? I smiled casually. I'm sorry. I have my own children and my own family. I'm really not interested in ungrateful children and hypocritical men. Parker's face turned black directly. Don't get carried away. Don't you know how old you are? Who will want a divorced woman like you without me? Can't you learn from Vivian? Look at her, a rich lady, with top-notch status and character. 5 years ago, he compared me to Vivian just like that. He thought that things that a rich heiress like Vivian didn't care about, I would nitpick about. Now 5 years later, this hasn't diminished but has actually increased. Then let's get a divorce, and you can marry her. I said indifferently, with none of the pain I had felt in the past. Parker was stunned, seeming a little incredulous, and then softened his voice. Zena, don't gamble with our marriage. We've been together from school uniforms to wedding dresses for so many years. How can we just break up like that? Vivian's family is nouveau riche. Her mother, Mrs. Zara, has a lot of money. With her help, Quinn's future will definitely be smooth sailing. Then we can start a company and make a name for ourselves. Who would dare to look down on us? Mrs. Zara? I vaguely remembered that there was a person named Zara on the list that Willa collected. Willa said that this person used to be an assistant to Willa's family, but she was bought and colluded with others to harm her father. After the incident was successful, she directly became a nouveau riche. She also said that the other party probably didn't expect her to be alive, so she didn't even move and continued to live in Y City. Thinking of Willa's cold eyes, I sighed. That child always said what she meant. And if she said she would play with the Zara family after she had a firm grasp of the situation, she would definitely do it. I shook my head and reminded him, if you really want Quinn's future to be smooth sailing, stay away from the Zara family. Dirty money will bring trouble. As soon as I finished speaking, a look of annoyance appeared on Parker's face. Zena, don't be so selfish. I thought letting you suffer a bit abroad would make you improve, but I didn't expect you to be like this. Just to satisfy your anger, I have to kick Vivian out? I tell you it's impossible. After saying that, Parker grabbed my arm and pulled me out the door. Then he slammed the door shut. The moment the door closed, I saw Quinn's mocking look. It was the same 5 years ago. If I said something that displeased them, Parker would kick me out and let me stand outside and think it over before coming in. An old lady who passed by recognized me and came over to ask me why I wasn't going home. After I explained, she frowned and advised me, young couples don't hold grudges overnight. The fact that Parker hasn't divorced you for so many years means he cares about you. When I first went abroad, I was waiting for Parker to send me a divorce agreement every day. I also thought that maybe he didn't actively divorce me because it meant that there was still a possibility of repairing our relationship. But later I figured it out. Quinn was only 3 years old when I left, and if it weren't for Parker's instigation over the past 10 years, how could Quinn have such a big resentment towards me? I shook my head at the old lady. There's no going back. But you can't be outside, it's so cold, and you're not even wearing a coat. The old lady was about to help me knock on the door, but I stopped her. Before the door closed, I saw Quinn's eyes, and at the end of my sight was the coat I had taken off when I entered the house. At the age of 14, he is no longer a child who knows nothing. He knew it was cold outside. He was also forcing me to beg, but years of outdoor research had made me accustomed to the wind and rain. Now that it's just the beginning of winter, this temperature is not too cold for me. My phone rang, and it was Owen calling. Owen had asked me several times to go to Y Country with him, saying that the temperature there fluctuated less, and that he could provide me with the best medical care, with the identity of a royal pianist. But I gave up because I couldn't give up my research. This time, I thought he would persuade me to go there, but it turned out to be about Vivian. In order to squeeze into the upper class, Vivian packaged her persona at a high price, claiming to be the most outstanding student of Owen, the royal pianist. And Owen also learned from others that he had an extra student under his name. Mom, do you want to ruin her? I've already got the evidence and I can send her in. 5. Although Vivian's mother made a lot of money by betraying Willa's family, her father was abusive and had affairs. He thought it was troublesome to ask Vivian's mother for money, and more than once wanted Vivian to marry a 70-year-old rich man. If it weren't for her urgent need to find a backer, Vivian wouldn't have fallen for Parker. Owen called me again on the phone. I told him to focus on his own future and not to worry about me. After so many years, Quinn and the others were no longer worth my worrying about. The old lady couldn't persuade me and turned to leave. I hung up the phone and was about to leave when the door suddenly opened from the inside. Vivian stood at the door, putting on a full show of being the hostess. Sister, why did you go outside? Come in quickly. Quinn quickly poured her a cup of hot water. Speaking, Vivian enthusiastically wanted to hold my hand. Isn't it tiring to pretend to be something you're not? I took a step back and withdrew my hand calmly, looking at Vivian, who immediately pretended to be innocent, and Parker and his son, who immediately turned gloomy. I almost burst out laughing. I don't have time to act with you. Where's the teacher? I'll leave as soon as I see her. Parker's face was so gloomy that water could drip from it. Zena, stop it. You were the one who proposed marriage at the beginning, and now you want a divorce. You come and go as you please. What do you think our Parker family is? This time I'll just pretend you're being willful. Don't blame me if I really turn against you next time. Quinn also walked over and threw the cup in Vivian's hand at me, forcing me to retreat a few steps in embarrassment. Drink it if you want to. If it weren't for Aunt Vivian pleading for you, I wouldn't let you into my house. And don't threaten my dad with divorce. If it weren't for my dad's consideration for the past relationship, you would have been a fool long ago. My heart skipped a beat. I never thought my own son would say such things to me. I thought that no matter how dissatisfied Parker was with me, he would consider the fact that I was a mother. But I didn't expect him and Vivian to teach Quinn like this in private. Anger welled up in my heart, and when I looked at Parker again, I suddenly felt a wave of nausea. Seeing that I didn't speak, Quinn proudly took out a phone and showed it to Vivian like a treasure. YT Group is going to vigorously support education, and I, as the top student in the city, have been specially invited to participate in the event. You can give a speech as a representative. Really? Vivian was overjoyed and looked at Quinn eagerly. YT Group was founded by Willa. It is already the #1 company in the entire Y City. If the YT Group is going to hold an event, many upper-class circles will surely come to pay their respects. Such a scene, let alone giving a speech, even Vivian, a nouveau riche, couldn't even go. No wonder Vivian was so excited. Quinn nodded. Of course it's true. My dad and I have also prepared a dress for you, and we're going to give you a surprise at the last minute. With that, Parker took Vivian to see the dress. Quinn turned his gaze to me, his expression contemptuous and smug. It's too late to regret. You ruthlessly left home back then. This glory is destined to have nothing to do with you. The banquet will start in 2 hours. You can just watch us on the big screen then. Hearing this, I suddenly remembered that Willa told me she wanted to carry on my legacy and planned to hold a banquet for me so that everyone could get to know me. I suddenly found it a bit funny. Everything happened so coincidentally. Quinn saw me like this and thought I regretted it. His expression became even more smug. and he turned to shout to Vivian, "Mom, don't worry. The people from the YT group are rushing to send a special car to pick you up as soon as they hear that it's you." Sure enough, a row of cars were parked at the entrance of the community. Vivian looked at the luxury cars, stood at the front with a proud look. Parker looked at the envious expressions of the neighbors and contentedly hugged his lover and son. The driver of the first car got out and scanned the crowd, and then ran towards me with an expectant look on Vivian's face. "Are you Mrs. Zena?" "6. Yes, it's me." The driver nodded respectfully and hurriedly invited me into the car. "Mrs. Zena, our president is already waiting for you at the scene, please." Everyone was stunned. The neighbors around looked at Vivian and her group with a bit of mockery. Look at how proud she was just now. I don't know who would think she was the one being picked up. Isn't it? She looked down on us before, but now she's been slapped in the face. Vivian's face turned red with anger as the crowd murmured. Quinn immediately felt sorry for her and rushed to the front of the car, asking the people inside to get out. "You got it wrong. YT Group invited my mother Vivian, not Zena, who abandoned her husband and children." The driver was unhappy and honked his horn, urging the other party to leave. But the other party not only didn't leave but also grabbed onto the window. "I'm Quinn, the #1 student in the city. If you don't listen to me, I won't go to the banquet." Two people from the convoy behind got out and pulled Quinn away directly. "Our president invited Mrs. Zena, not a person named Vivian. As for you, come if you want to." Vivian cried with red eyes and leaned on Parker's shoulder, crying. Parker gently coaxed her, while scolding those who were gossiping, and looked at me with scrutiny. "When did you become related to the president of YT Group?" I didn't bother to answer, and let the driver leave directly. After the car left, I opened my phone and saw a message from Willa. Sure enough, it was all arranged by her specially. Over the years I've been away, I don't know how many bad things Parker has said about me to others, and this educational funding banquet will indeed help me wash away my past reputation. The banquet was a great success, and while Willa was talking to others, Parker found me. He spoke again with a flattering tone. "Willa, the president just said that you adopted her, and she is your mother. When did this happen? Why didn't you tell me? What does it have to do with you? How can it not be related? Don't forget that we're not divorced yet. Willa is also my daughter. It's only natural for a daughter to help her father. Why don't you ask Willa if she can talk to the general manager for us and get me a general manager position?" I looked at Parker and suddenly found him ridiculously absurd. "She's my daughter. It has nothing to do with you." Parker remained unmoved and continued. "What about Quinn? He's your son. You can't just ignore him. You ask Willa to change Quinn to a noble school, and then you can help Willa manage the company." He kept talking to himself, like he was having a daydream. I interrupted. "He doesn't deserve it. Parker, the influence of YT Group can already be ranked among the top in the country, and it's not something that anyone can get in touch with. In order to make Vivian and Quinn get along well, you didn't hesitate to smear my image as a mother and make my son hate me. Now, in order to curry favor with the YT Group, you want to use Quinn to tie me down. Parker, don't you think you're disgusting?" 7. Parker's face turned pale, and then red, and he kept reminding me to lower my voice as he looked at the people around us. I sneered. He dumped Vivian and Quinn and went to the banquet alone, and I thought he was shameless. "We'll go to the Civil Affairs Bureau tomorrow and get our divorce certificate, and from then on, we'll never see each other again." After saying that, I turned and left, asking Willa to help me find out which hospital the teacher was being treated in. But when I found out, I learned that the teacher had died when I boarded the flight back to my home country, and her body was lying in the morgue waiting to be claimed. I was stunned for a long time when I heard the news. Looking at Parker not far away, who was still trying to ingratiate himself with others, I suddenly felt sorry for the teacher. I went to the hospital to claim the teacher's body. When she was buried, Vivian appeared. "Sister Zena, I'll give Parker and Quinn back to you. You stay and have a good life with them. I'm going to study abroad soon, and I won't be back." This sincere tone made me feel very strange. I said calmly, "You don't need to tell me what you three do. Parker and I will go to get our divorce certificate this afternoon." Vivian suddenly burst into tears. "Sister, I only ask you one thing. You can treat Quinn well in the future. He is a good child." I had a bad feeling, and sure enough, Quinn appeared the next second. "Zena, you're too much. My mom gave up her career as a royal pianist for me. But what about you? You left for 5 years without a word for a little bit of work. I don't have a mother like you. Don't think you can do whatever you want because you've climbed up to YT Group. If you bully my mother again, I'll definitely ignore you when you're old." Looking at Quinn, who was full of anger, I felt a complex mix of emotions. His own grandmother was lying here, but all he cared about was Vivian. I raised my hand and slapped him. Quinn was first incredulous, and then swung his fist towards my face. I stepped back to dodge, and Parker reached out to stop him. "Quinn, what's the occasion? Go home." Quinn refused to listen, and Vivian called out to him, so he quickly ran to her side. Looking at the child I had once held in my arms and cared for, my heart was numb. Parker knelt down and lit the paper money, and I looked at his hypocritical face and trembled with anger. Why didn't anyone take care of the teacher when she was seriously ill? Isn't it because of you? If you had taken the initiative to come back, would Quinn hate my mother as well as you? I looked at him incredulously. As a son, he could actually blame everything on others. 8. I looked at the teacher's grave and took a few deep breaths. The teacher had been kind to me, and I didn't want to disturb her peace at this time. "Let's go to the Civil Affairs Bureau to get a divorce," I said immediately after leaving the cemetery. Parker stared at me for a while and asked, "Are you sure you want to divorce me?" I nodded. "Okay, then you let Willa give up 70% of the shares, and I'll divorce you." Parker said it grandly, saying that Willa was also his daughter, and that he had a share in YT Group. And since I had neglected Quinn's education for so many years, it was only fair to give him some compensation. That way, Quinn would have a mother who was a royal pianist and a handsome, wealthy father, and his path would be smoother. I refused directly. Willa was an adult, and her property belonged to her alone. "If you don't agree, then I won't divorce you." Not only that, I've had someone record the scene where Vivian knelt down to you just now. What if the royal pianist finds out that his proud student has been so neglected by you? Will he let YT Group go? As he spoke, he opened his phone and waved the video just recorded in my face. I glanced at it, but remained unmoved. "The law won't let you get away with it, Parker. I'll sue for divorce." Parker sneered. "What are you going to sue with?" "I'll tell you. Every penny you spend has a part of mine. I'll make you pay back whatever you've spent." With that, Parker left with Vivian. I sent a message to Willa, asking her to help me contact a lawyer. I really didn't want to have anything to do with such a person. After that day, Vivian kept loitering around me. "Zena, have you ever thought that you would have this day? Back then, there was only one doctoral position, and you already had so much, but you insisted on competing with me. I begged you for so long, but you just wouldn't give it to me. Now what? Everything you fought for most of your life is mine. Your husband and son are mine, and YT Group will be mine too." When she mentioned the quota, I was stunned. I thought hard for a long time, but couldn't remember where I had heard her before. But someone did privately message me back then, asking me to take the initiative to tell the teacher to give up the Ph.D. at H University. It was just treated as a joke at the time, and not taken seriously. After a few days, Vivian suddenly stopped coming. Not only did she not come, but she also announced to the public that she was sick and couldn't be seen. There was no other reason, but Owen had returned, the teacher that Vivian had claimed to the outside world. 9. Willa helped me contact a lawyer, and incidentally got the evidence of Parker's rise to power through money. Looking at the evidence, I thought it would be nice if Parker was willing to divorce me directly, saving us the trouble. But Parker was not afraid when he saw the evidence. A barefoot person is not afraid of one wearing shoes. "Zena, if you sue President Zara, then the reputation of Willa's group will be unknown. You also know that Vivian's mother is a nouveau riche with no experience, and it would be a loss to YT Group if she is affected. Parker said it confidently, but he didn't know that Vivian's mother, Zara, had been in the police station an hour ago. Willa's father had also been acquitted. While talking, Parker received a call. His originally triumphant expression immediately turned pale. He hung up the phone immediately, and without caring that I was present, he called Zara one after another. Once, twice, 3 times. There's no need to call. Zara's money was obtained by harming Willa's family. And now karma has caught up with her. She's already in jail. Parker looked at me, his face turning red and white. Did you do it? Zara indirectly killed Willa's mother. This is the punishment she deserves. Parker stared at me and suddenly laughed. Zena, have you forgotten that Vivian still has a teacher? As he spoke, Owen knocked on the table beside us and showed Parker his royal pianist identity. Parker's face changed immediately. In Vivian's mouth, her teacher was a venerable old man, but Owen was clearly a young man. Parker started to panic. He picked up the coffee on the table and drank it down in one gulp. Zena, you must have found this group of actors, right? You want him to replace Vivian's teacher and deceive me into getting a divorce? You're too naive. Whether it's true or not, you can call Vivian to find out. The police should have already found her by now. Parker didn't believe it, but he was unwilling to make the call. Seeing that we couldn't talk, I got up and wanted to leave, but Parker stood up and stopped me. Zena, I'm your husband, come home with me. Seeing this, Owen stood in front of me, blocking Parker's hand that was about to grab me. As they were arguing, Quinn came. As soon as he saw me, the worry on his face immediately turned to anger. Zena, you framed my mother. How could my mother be suddenly taken away by the police? Tell me, you vicious woman, what have you done? Quinn had a scratch on his face, which was probably left behind when he was protecting Vivian. I have to say, Quinn was indeed filial to Vivian. Even though the police had come, he still didn't believe that Vivian had done anything wrong. The police followed Quinn. The police said that Quinn accused me of deliberately framing Vivian and asked us to go back to the police station to make a record. 10. When we arrived, Vivian was asking the police if she was going to jail. After getting an affirmative answer, she was completely panicked. I just borrowed a name. Why should I be sentenced to 3 to 5 years? At this moment, Vivian no longer had her previous elegance, and she started shouting like a shrew. Because of your illegal gains. The police were unmoved, and when they were finished taking notes and were about to leave, Vivian saw Parker. Parker, save me. I don't want to go to jail. I can't go to jail. Parker didn't say anything. On the contrary, Quinn immediately pounced on him, shouting loudly for his mother and telling the police to let me in to exchange Vivian. I ignored them and went directly with the police to make a statement. The investigation of the case was very quick, and the crimes of Vivian and Zara were solid. On the day of the verdict, Vivian went crazy and kept shouting my name, cursing me to die. I sat indifferently in the audience, coldly watching Quinn beside me cry his heart out. What filial piety! On the same day, Parker was removed from his position as general manager, but he still refused to divorce. Zena, now that there are no outsiders to interfere with us, we can start over. Zena, you won't forget the many years of our relationship, will you? I looked at him with disgust. Who wants to start over with you? Parker, if you have any humanity, just divorce me as soon as possible. Impossible. I don't agree. As he spoke, the look in Parker's eyes suddenly changed, and he lunged at me. Zena, let's have another child. You can't get a divorce while you're pregnant. If we have another child, everything will go back to normal. His calculations were very good, but he forgot that I had a family and was no longer the lonely person I used to be. Willa had anticipated this and had someone follow me in advance. As soon as Parker made a move, he was immediately stopped. Zena, you can't escape. As long as I don't agree to a divorce, you will always be a member of our Parker family. I didn't bother to argue with him. After I left the teacher's funeral last time, I filed for divorce. Now, coupled with Parker's bigamy, even if Parker refuses, the divorce will definitely be granted. In court, Parker repeatedly changed his statement, demanding to split the property of Willa and Owen. and required them to pay him 100,000 yuan in child support each month. Unfortunately, Parker had never raised them, and the law did not recognize his relationship with Willa and Owen. The day I got the divorce certificate, I went abroad. Later, Willa told me that Quinn's grades had plummeted, and Parker was looking everywhere for me, asking if I wanted to meet. I shook my head. They had already belonged to the past, and I didn't want to see them in my future. A year later, Willa and her father worked together to make YT Group unprecedentedly prosperous. Owen also took over the Royal Orchestra completely. They asked me if I wanted to move in with them. I smiled and shook my head. Everyone has their own choices, and dedicating my life to scientific research is what I want.